All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to Game Life Chronicles. I know we've been gone. We've been gone for so long. It's not our fault. Life was life in, but we are back at it, ready to do some more game talk, right? We started these checkpoints in the 8-bit revolution, right? We had the NES and the dawn of the console gaming, right? And then we journeyed. We took a little journey and we started talking about the Sega versus Nintendo, right? The 16-bit wars. Now, today we're going to take another jump and we're going to get into arcades, all right? The arcade era, which I think is one of the most monumental eras, monumental gaming eras for our time. Like when you're talking about socialization, right? Like it was arcade gaming was the original LAN party, right? Like before people were playing, Nintendos in each other's house and stuff like that. Going to the arcade and sitting next to your friend on these machines was top tier, right? The top tier social experience. All right, and just to reintroduce ourselves, I know the five of y'all who watch us may have forgotten us, but you got Sparky P and you got
Gamer dad,
Gamer Dad. What's up, man? How you doing?
chilling. Just want to give a shout out to like the two people that corrected me on my little Mortal Kombat 1 mishap. You know what I mean? I don't
I
mind
forgot
it
about
because
that.
what it shows is that people are listening and they're actually paying attention, right? So that's actually cool.
I forgot about
Um,
that.
yeah, it made a little mishap with that, but like I said, shout out to the guys that corrected me. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but we all do.
That is funny. That is funny. All right, so to get into arcades, I have a little Reddit post that I thought was interesting. We go down to Reddit sometimes, but it's just I wanted to think about the state of things right now. So this Redditor, Steel Rain, was like, why do current arcades suck so much? That's the title of it, right? Why do current arcades suck so much? Okay. So when I was a kid, I loved going to the arcade with my dad. Granted, it was 20 years ago, but we could get a lot of mileage out of $10 and play all afternoon on 20. Some of my favorites were Time Crisis, Area 51, Soul Calibur, X-Men, and a few of the fighting games. Nowadays, all the public arcades are essentially upgraded Chuck E. Cheese's designed to suck as much money out of you as quickly as possible. We have places like Dave and Buster's, Main Event, and Fat Cats, where almost every game is gated based on time and not skill. Play session lasts maybe 2 minutes, sometimes a few seconds, and the focus is on the crappiest prizes instead of games. I took my two kids the other day and we blew through $50 in less than half an hour. Obviously, there's been a good deal of inflation since the 2000s, but this is like 10 to 20 times the cost, not double, triple. And most of the games just flat out suck and you're forced to lose after one attempt. So, do actual arcades still exist? And I'd love to recreate that experience for my kids, right? So, that was the Reddit post, right? He doesn't want to drop around $200 for like an hour of fun. What are you thinking about arcades these days?
And he just went to the wrong place. That's all. He went to a Dave and Buster's Chuck E. Cheese. That's not an arcade. That's not an arcade. Chinatown is where the arcades are. If you want to go to the
Oh,
arcades, go to Chinatown.
facts.
Or you could look up somewhere in Brooklyn. There's local spots. He went to a spot that I don't even know what you call these fun zones. I don't really know. But yes, they do have arcades in there like Time Crisis and Resident Evil, but those are really like
Gimmicks.
not gimmicks. It's just what's the word I'm looking for? Like what is Dave and Buster's, right? It's not technically an arcade. It's like a what do you call it? Like a fun
I don't
zone.
know, but
All I can think of is fun zone. That's it.
Dave and Buster's is like an adult Chuck E. Cheese, or if somewhere you can take your kids and adults still have fun, right? Like that's what the purpose of Dave and Buster's is, selling drinks.
It's not really
It's
like you
not.
don't take if you want the authentic arcade experience. Plus, I don't even know where he lives. Like if he doesn't live in New York, California, place like
Yeah,
urban
I'm sure.
areas. Like you need an urban area. Like that's what you need.
Hmm.
At least that's what I think. Because I don't know of anybody in Dakota. that like you.
It's such a random
I'm
choice.
just saying, like, because I still follow, um like, let's say the FGC, for example, the fighting game community. A lot of
Hmm.
them started. A lot of the older guys probably started on arcades, right?
That's true.
But even the guys that's in the Midwest, Detroit, Chicago, look at the places I just named, Detroit and Chicago, right? I don't know anybody from like Missouri that started in the arcade in like the countryside. Maybe if St. Louis, Missouri might be like the urban area, but
I have no idea. I'm from Trinidad.
no, yeah, I keep forgetting that. So I'm not. I don't know where he lives, and going to Dave and Buster's for the classic arcade thing, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that.
Yeah.
He called it what did he said? An upgraded arcade or something like that?
I think he said, let me go back to it. He said, upgraded Chuck E. Cheese, designed to suck
No,
money.
no, no. It was something before that. He said he took his kids to a. What did he say?
Yeah, he said he took, yeah. We blew $50 in less than 50 hours. Yeah, he said he called it an upgraded Chuck E. Cheese, designed to suck as much money.
All right. So Chuck E. Cheese and Dave and Buster's and all that. That's not an arcade 2.0. Like that's not an evolve. That's just something else. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he took his kids somewhere else when he could have just went to an arcade.
That's true, but even like that, because I do have a couple like arcade experiences up here where I live, and they're not Dave and Buster Chuck E. Cheese. Like they're closer to real arcades, but still the value of the quarter is different,
Okay.
right? The value of the quarter is definitely a little different than us putting in a quarter back in the day and getting like you play till you win, you play till you lose, right? You play till you lose, and now you've got to use 4 quarters to get that game started, type thing.
Damn, I didn't know it was $1. But what it seemed like he really cared about was the fact that it was timed. Like that's like it sounded like he would be okay with spending 50 cent to $1 if it wasn't one of them
If
games
it
where it
play till you
yeah,
lose,
till it just play till you lose. Like X-Men. Like X-Men, well,
yeah.
we gonna get into all of that. But yeah, that's what it sounded.
All right, so guys, clearly we're talking about the neon glow of the arcade, right? We're talking about the golden age of cabinets where quarters were king and high scores were everything. Gamer Dad, what was your first memory of walking into an arcade?
So I'm from the hood, right? So I can give you my first memory of encountering an arcade machine. If
Oh,
And it wasn't at an arcade. It
laundromat.
was
Let me
in the
guess, laundromat.
laundromat. It was in the laundromat up the block from my crib, Sud Busters. If you from Brooklyn, if you lived on Fulton Street back in like the 90s, Sud Busters was the spot, black owned and all of that. Um Street Fighter 2 was in there. That's the
Of
first
course it was.
place I saw Street Fighter 2.
Of
And
course it was.
for all of the people that know about the arcade machines, the Street Fighter 2 we had to be the Rainbow Edition. You ask yourself what the Rainbow Edition is, right?
Yeah, it was.
Rainbow editions of Street Fighter, or maybe other fighting games, but I know of Street Fighter, are broken versions of them. Meaning, like, you'll see things in there that you would never see in the console because it wasn't created by the developers. Somebody found
Mm-hmm.
that box, did something to it, and changed the game. And now we had these around New York City. Like, when I was younger, I remember walking in the Sud buses and seeing guys playing Street Fighter, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
remember seeing a move. And I swear to you, Sparkle, I've never seen this move again. Now I know why. Because when I was younger, I didn't know about rainbow editions. I didn't know about cracked versions of arcades. But the
Mm-hmm.
move that I saw when I got Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo, I was wondering, how come I can't do this move? Now either I have a false memory of what I saw,
It's just possible.
which is possible, or this is what I saw. What I saw was Blanca putting his hand around Guile and talking to him, and hearts were popping up. That's what I remember. I swear to you, Sparkle, I seen it in the arcade. I'm telling you, I swear to everything I saw that. I'm telling you. I am telling you I seen that. I seen it.
Hmm.
Then when I saw Street
Interesting.
Fighter 2 as a kid and I didn't see that, I said, what's going on? But I just went past it. But yes, my first memory is Street Fighter 2 in the laundromat near my crib.
Nice. And that reminds me of like, weren't we at like a Comic Con and there was the machine? Was it Street Fighter? Was it Mortal Kombat? I remember y'all stayed there for a hot minute just playing with folks
On the floor.
on the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was oh my God. Yeah.
it was a
It
Comic
was at
Con,
the
right?
center of the showroom floor. They had set up this little arcade section.
Yeah,
Yes, but I don't remember what I was playing. It was probably Street Fighter.
I think it
It was
was
probably
Street
Street
Fighter because
Fighter.
there was another dude there who wasn't getting off the machine either. Like he kept
Yeah,
winning.
I remember that. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
funny. I love
Yeah.
that.
That's cool.
All right, so your first experience is definitely in the laundromat, but like, did you play in full blown arcades where there were just like a bunch of
Machine.
machines with your friends? Like, did y'all go to like
Well, yeah,
real full
I
blown?
ended up going to one, but I would like to go see. My thing is a little different with my connection with the arcade because of
Mm-hmm.
where I grew up and the funds that I had and the reach that I had, right? So
Makes sense.
it was the laundromat. Then a block up, a billiards place was built, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was uh under. I don't think I was a teenager yet. I think I was probably like maybe 12, 13 years old, maybe 12, 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't go fully into the billiards place, right? Because we were underage. But in
Mm-hmm.
the front, they had an arcade machine. This arcade machine, Street Fighter Alpha 3. Now, here goes the thing with that. When Street Fighter
Mm-hmm.
Alpha came out, and I think we spoke about this, it was a different series of Street Fighter games, right? Street Fighter
Mm-hmm.
Alpha 2 was amazing. Everybody loved it. Now that
Yeah.
I'm of age, I'm walking past the billiards and I see Street Fighter Alpha 3 and I'm like, "Oh my god," because this was how you knew the game was coming. The arcade version had to hit first for you and so now I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
"There's a Street Fighter Alpha 3?" So you got that. There was a laundromat on St. John's Place, not too far, that had X-Men versus Street Fighter in it, right? Um
Mm-hmm.
there was a laundromat I used to go to with my friend Paul. My friend Paul was nice in fighting games. And we used to play Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter or Marvel Superheroes, right? This is how the
Mm-hmm.
hood kids grew up. This is laundromats, local spots, one or two. There was a laundromat 3 blocks away from my crib. This dude that I met in the billiards named Wesley, light skinned dude, mad acne on his face.
Why you gotta mention the dude's
Because
acne, bro?
that was a feature of his, right? Mad acne on his face, and he looked like he had like red hair, but he was black, like light skin, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty in Street Fighter though. Nat used to smack me in Street Fighter Alpha 3 all the time. That's how we met. Then I went down the block, like 3 blocks up, and I go into the laundromat, and Wesley is there, and I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh snap! Like, what you doing here?
You just jump in.
And this is how we used to do it: going into laundromats in random hoods and playing arcade games. That was it. But my boy Dave did take me to the Chinatown arcade, which is the arcade spot for New York City, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I did go to like a regular arcade spot before, and yeah, Dave was nice. Dave was nasty in that stuff.
So what are you thinking? Like arcades more community than competition, or competition and community, or both?
I think it fostered community, but at the same time, everybody wanted to be the best. You get what I'm saying? So it was both. It was like
And your name on that
you want your
leaderboard.
name on the leaderboard and you don't want to spend more than a quarter. That's the whole thing. I put the quarter in the machine, y'all gonna waste money fighting me. Now I was on the other side of that because I sucked on the arcade machine, but I used to like playing.
Um,
But I I I think it was both because there's always a guy. There's always a guy. Like in Chinatown arcade, for a moment,
hmm
Dave was the guy. But in the laundromat and billiards, Wesley was the guy.
Wesley was the guy.
Like these guys was just nice, man. They was just good.
Yeah, I bet. Do you think they'll ever make a real comeback? Like I know we're talking about those little spots that you have to find, but do you think they'll ever make a comeback? I think for, when I think about arcades nowadays, a lot of those like those Asian stores come to mind, like where you gotta, you pick the balls and stuff like that. But I don't know if like real arcades will make like a good comeback. But even though I feel like it's such a dynamic experience, it's such an interesting experience to have. Like I feel kids nowadays need arcades. Even recently, one opened up over here that was like they opened it as a BYOB, like kids in the day, and then now kids after a certain time. But the experience was still sort of Dave and Bustery type situation. So I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna make a comeback.
Uh, okay. I don't know if I'm gonna explain this right. It's not that I think they need to make a. I don't think they went anywhere. I think the faithful are still
Okay.
playing in arcades.
I mean, I think that makes
Yeah, you get
sense.
what I'm saying? It's just
And people have arcade systems in their
that's another
houses.
thing too. That's another thing, right? So I don't know. I don't know. There's a spot in Brooklyn called oh boy, I can't remember the name. I took Kyle there to see how it was. It's a very famous spot in Brooklyn for the FGC, the fighting game community, right? And the reason why I keep bringing
Hmm.
them up is because the arcade machines, the arcade era was kind of ran by fighting games. That and
Not Barcade, right?
no, 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 no. It's not
No.
Barcade. It's not NYC Next Level. That's what it's called.
Okay.
NYC Next Level. They don't have arcade machines in there, but what they do have, they have monitors, and you could bring your own system. So
Oh,
that's what takes
interesting.
over a lot of it now. You get what I'm saying? But
Interesting.
if
Yeah.
you want somewhat of that arcade feeling, that's where you go because there is no time. It's just there's no time and there's no money involved. All you got to do is go. People hook up their
Bring a system.
systems and you play. That's it. You play, and then if you got next person lose, you get in. That might be the closest thing you get to an arcade making a comeback.
Mm,
Because like I said, I don't think they really went anywhere. It's just they're there. You just got to be on that scene. I think.
understand. So speaking of the you got next situation, what is this whole so I'm from Trinidad, so I didn't have the same experience, but I feel like in every movie that there was in an arcade and there was like an arcade rivalry, you had to put your quarter up to call next in line. Is that actually a thing?
Once again, I didn't go to arcades. I went to the laundromat, and basically it was yeah. You didn't have to put your what you mean like put it up like this.
Put your quarter on the machine,
Nah,
like just
you
saying
just
like you got
stand
next.
there and just be like, "Yo, I got next." You see two people on the system,
Man,
right? Ain't nobody else there. I got next because you ain't. You know what I mean?
man.
Like that's it. And then even if you had a pocket full of quarters and you lost, you got off. That's just the way it was.
Mm. Nah, I really wanted to be like, although I can't remember what movie I'm thinking about, but I feel like every movie with a kid rivalry in an arcade, they put the quarter on the machine to call
That's
next.
dramatic.
There's always some
That's
drama.
yeah. That's to make it dramatic. It's just, yo, I got next. That's all it was. I got next.
So you talked about Wesley. Were there like any other local legends, like people you see on the leaderboards and be like, "Yo, I'm trying to beat this person on the leaderboard."
No, because like I said, laundromats. So
It was all
yeah, like I
laundromats
didn't
through
I
and
didn't
through, right?
spend time in like the China like if I really wanted to be that Chinatown
Mm-hmm.
arcade legends Justin Wong, one of the greatest fighting game players of all time. He's from there. Another dude named
Yeah.
Yipes, fighting game player, played over there. These guys are pro fighting game guys now. So that's where they were. But me, I was on the local place, like, because I didn't like playing. To tell you the truth, I loved the arcade, but I sucked at it. So I didn't really like going and trying to find it because I used to always tell people, if this was on a system, I'd kill you. But because I can't play with the stick. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Like I've
Yeah.
tried it so many times as a kid, and I've come to the conclusion I'm just better with a controller. So I would,
I
yeah.
I must buy button mash. Like just and something will happen. Just something will happen. Hit the buttons, and something must happen at one point or the other.
Yeah, I used to
That's what arcade was. I don't think I learned any
I
combos.
used to love the experience, but in regards to the winning and losing, me winning in an arcade, I'm like, it ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna try because I know how to do the moves and I know the characters and all that. But I doing this and it just never worked for me. Like I love the atmosphere. Growing up is what we had. So when I found it, I was like, oh my god, new game, blah blah. All the games that I used to like, I played. But in regards to like going out to actual arcades to be like, man, I want to see what the competition is like today. Nah, because I knew I was gonna get smoked. So I was like, there's no reason. I'd rather just play it
That's
at home
hilarious.
with the boys.
So, what was your go-to arcade game? Like, if you were just gonna, do something to do something.
Any Capcom game. So if it was like Marvel Superheroes versus Street
Hmm.
Fighter, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Marvel versus Capcom, that
Yeah.
any Capcom game, that and the X-Men game. The X-Men game, yo, oh boy, let me tell you. That game right there was the first game that I played in the arcade like that. It was four players.
Hmm.
It was four sets of buttons.
Hmm.
Everybody put a quarter in, and the goal was to beat the game. That's it. Just beat it. You and three other random people. And it was cool because if it was like, let's say one person is on the system, you could
Hmm.
just come and join. So now it's you and this person, and then somebody else might see. And that see, that's different because those are adventure games. The fighting
Yeah.
games are the ones that I used to get smoked in, but the adventure games is different. Those are fun. So yeah, that X-Men, the arcade game, fire. Fire.
So, speaking of the games, right? There was a bunch of iconic games. I feel like every time you think arcade, the first game that comes to mind is Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man, right? Like patterns, instinct. Like Pac-Man had such a big impact on pop culture, and I feel like people were obsessed with it.
I know you
I
ain't about
don't.
to ask me about no Pac-Man. I'm not that old. So look, by the time I started
Pac-Man is
playing
not that
arcade
old.
games,
Hold
Pac-Man
on.
was like it was old by then. It was like
Wow, the disrespect of
boy,
Pac-Man.
it did what it did. But I'm saying when as a kid, I'm not trying to play Pac-Man in the arcade. I'm trying to play something else.
Don't tell me you were a Dance Dance Revolution.
No, I just remembered. I just unlocked the memory. I remember a game. When I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
my parents took me to some amusement park and it had an arcade in it.
Mm-hmm.
Punch Out. I played Punch Out in the arcade. The reason why I say Punch Out and not Mike Tyson Punch Out or Super Punch Out is because the first Punch Out was just called Punch Out. It wasn't Mike
Punch
Tyson, none of
Out.
that. And Little Mac, I'll never forget this. Little Mac didn't have a solid body. It was, oh my God, what do you call it? He was like green. It was like green outline of a person. That's pretty much yeah, but
That's
remember at the
crazy.
time, early
Mm-hmm.
90s, right? This arcade came out in the late 80s. But by the time
Oh
I
yeah,
played it,
for 70s, 80s.
yeah, but by the time I played it, it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
So polygons. It was like a polygon version of a character. And I played it because I remember I had the Nintendo and I had Mike Tyson's Punch Out. But when I
Yeah, you talked about the
yeah,
Punch Out last
but
time.
when I played this, it was just Punch Out. But I knew it. I'm like, oh my god, I had this game. Like I know it. So there goes another memory. Actually, that's probably damn. That's probably my first time playing an arcade. Now that I think about it,
Punch Out?
probably like yeah, it was probably then.
Boom, 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 boom. I'm just feeling like you're hiding a Dance Dance Revolution era.
Okay,
Like
so
I feel like
I
you had
I
one of
took
those.
part in that, but it was in one of those places that wasn't really an arcade. It was that one of those fun zones. I suck at that too. So
That's hilarious.
when them places started,
I was never good at that either.
when them places started popping up, ESPN Zone, Dave and Buster's, and of course I took part in that stuff. It was fun, but I sucked at it. It was terrible.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. I didn't actually think you would have like a dance thing. It's so funny because I'm slow a little bit, but when I very first time I ever played that game, I could not figure out. It took me so long to figure out that I had to hit it when the arrow passed. I was just so confused, swore I was doing something, and I did nothing. I was doing absolutely nothing the whole
I
time.
don't think I ever hit
Just
a
like, all
beat.
right.
So you did better than me. I don't think I ever hit a beat.
Oh, that's hilarious. How do you think arcades influence all the modern esports, modern gaming, modern gaming lounges?
How do I think it influenced all the esports? Oh, I mean,
Like esports, modern gaming lounges, just like the state of gaming and gamers today.
big influence. People coming together, community, competition. What you said in the beginning. Um, the difference now, I mean, with esports is that guys are getting paid for this stuff, you know? But
Mon-
the competition, wanting to be the best, you get what I'm saying? That acknowledgement that yo, this is mine. Like when I step in here, I'm smoking
mhm.
all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So big influence, huge, huge. I
Gamer tags, bro. I feel like getting your name on that leaderboard, and you never had enough space for your
three
turn. You
letters,
never had
three
enough letters,
letters.
so you have to come up with some sort of nickname for everyone to know, like this is me here. Like, yeah, this is me putting them numbers up.
You know who I felt the worst for? Let's
Who?
say somebody's name was like Alex Armando Anderson. You know when you put AAA, it just changes it to whatever the like for Capcom, it would become Cap. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, son. Like, what if that's somebody's real
Why?
name? Like, why would you do that? That's so messed up.
It's evolved. It's
Mhm.
evolved since then, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. So
Which is kind of
since we're on the subject of arcades, today
hmm
Capcom actually released Capcom Fighting Collection Volume 2. And in that fighting collection, they have Street Fighter Alpha 3. Upper.
They have it for everything,
It's for
all
yeah,
platforms.
yeah, yeah. It's for Steam,
Hmm
PlayStation, Xbox. They don't have it for the I don't think they have it for like Switch or anything like that. But
Probably not.
I think they got it for the other ones, yeah. So that's interesting because that was like Street Fighter Alpha 3, as I said, that was like the first alpha I saw in arcade, right? So that game right there, just to give you like a quick thing, when I played that game, I thought I was nice,
Yeah.
right? I thought I was nice. So um I played it by myself, played through the story, got to the last person, who's Bison. Like everybody knows. Street Fighter Alpha 2, Bison was trash. Like he wasn't that good. So I'm like, all right, like this is gonna be a cakewalk. Like cause I'm thinking of Alpha 2 Bison.
Yeah.
In Alpha 2, Bison was a nobody. Everybody had their own boss. So if you fought with Ryu, I think the last person you fought was Akuma or something like that. Or Sagat. No, Sagat was a special fight. So I go up against Bison. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to tear Bison up. Then he leaves the screen and comes back with a Psycho Crusher. That's his move where he just flies across the screen like this.
hmm
It took up the entire screen. It was like this. Like it took up the whole screen. And I stood there and I said, what the hell is this? Like I didn't he destroyed me. Alpha 3, all of that
hmm
encompasses like how I view the arcade. That experience right there, the first time seeing something, the first time experiencing something that crazy made me lose my 25 cent.
Uh,
I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like I fought mad hard to get to this guy thinking I'm a win, and here he go, bang, done.
Messing you up.
Crazy.
Oh, jeez, Louise. I think that was a. It was the. As I go through my daily life and life, I think about those times where you just, you're just able to go to these places and spend hours just hanging out, playing games. It's generally just being in like-minded community, right? Because you went with your friends. You didn't, have anything to worry about back then on a quarter and a dollar. It was easier back then. Man,
Tell me about it.
the world
Tell
we
me
live
about
in. The arcade era taught us, competition, magic of gaming, social experience. It was a lot.
community,
Community.
community, community. Yeah, a lot of those guys that played in the Chinatown arcades, they
Hmm.
still friends to this day. I see them when
Absolutely.
they commentate on Street Fighter tournaments. Like they stayed in contact. I'm not in the FGC to the point where I know them, but when I hear them talk about each other and they talk about certain names and certain guys, and they got these memories of years ago from the Chinatown arcade. So you want to talk about community? That built the FGC, probably the arcade era.
Yeah. I think
That
gaming
built
in
the FGC.
general, right? Like gaming in general has this strong knit community aspect to it, whether it's through the arcade, through the PS Network, Xbox, whatever it is. There's a like definite community forming with people you may never ever meet, right? But that's your game and do. You turn on that game and that's the first person you're looking for type thing. I think that's kind of cool.
Arcade. Right
Arcade.
now, what happened with us in Monster Hunter, right? With that guy that we've been playing with.
Oh,
We don't know
Kafka.
who the hell that is, bro. We don't
Kafka,
know who
my
that is.
G.
We don't know who that is.
But he comes
What's
in clutch.
the only difference between this and the arcade is that we don't see him. But
Right.
what or her, I don't know who that
That's
is, right?
that's true.
But if this was in the arcade, it'd be me, you, and Chris playing Monster Hunter, and some random person just hopping on. That's pretty
Yeah.
much that. Or he playing in it, or he or she playing, and the three of us just hop on.
Yeah.
That's the arcade. You build a sense of community. Remember
Shout
the
out to
division?
Kafka.
Remember we was talking about that?
Whoever you are. Kafka Hibino on Monster Hunter. Shout out. Clutch over there.
remember remember when we was playing the division? All the people that we met playing that?
Some
We
famous
don't
too.
famous people, yeah, which was crazy. We was playing with a basketball player.
Right. And we're
A
just like, oh,
professional basketball player.
oh, bro, you're real, real, real. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we was like, whoa, what? Like you a real I don't remember his name.
I
But
still
I
have him
knew
on
at the time
Insta.
he was in the league. He
Yeah,
was
I'm
in
not
the
gonna bait
NBA.
him,
So,
but I still have him on Instagram.
yeah, like you never know, man. You never know who you meet, man.
Yeah, it's real. All right, that's a wrap. That's the arcade era. Next time, and hopefully we won't be, a month, 6 months in between, but next time we're going to dive into the rise of first person shooters. This is when, this is where I shine. It's a lie.
What first person? What first? What? That was hilarious, yo. That is where you shine. I'm like, huh? What?
I never met a first person shooter I didn't hate. But it's, it's all good. But we'll dive into some first person shooter games. The first person frontier, the rise of Doom. We'll see. All right, we will catch you next time on Game Life Chronicles, Checkpoints Through Time. Now, listen, we've been gone a while, so if you hear us, if you're with us, like, subscribe, leave a comment. You can yell at us if you want. If you heard something wrong, let us know. We'll correct it. Well, he'll correct it. I'm just here for the vibes. He's the expert. Don't come for me. Hit us up on the YouTube, Spotify. Hit me up on Sparky P Gaming on TikTok. I can't remember what my TikTok is. Gamer Dad anywhere. Everything will be linked. Any interaction helps. And we'll catch you next time.
Hey, wait. I ain't no expert. Don't be putting me out there to get fried. I'm just a gamer who had experiences growing up playing video games. I didn't do everything. I didn't play everything. But, once you play one game, you in the gaming community. So
Hey.
even if it's Flappy Bird, which made a comeback, by the way, did you see that?
Did it?
It's
No, I
on
didn't see
Twitch
that.
now. Yes, Flappy Bird made a comeback on Androids. I was tight because I got an iPhone. I
Oh,
was
that's
tight
crazy. Flappy Bird had people in a chokehold.
for real, for real.
In a chokehold. Like even after they got deleted or whatever it was, and phones were selling for Mile High to have Flappy Bird. Do you remember that nonsense?
Flappy Bird. I remember they came out with a bootleg version of Flappy
It
Bird.
was not as good. The code
It
was
was
whoever coded
trash.
it. It was not as
Yeah,
good.
it was trash.
It was trash. All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next time. Peace.